Good morning there. You're watching QTV this morning, and I'm Jana Bosonko, joined by my colleague here, Ibrahim Abalde, and Mr. Ade Durami, joining us here on the newspaper review as well. Thank you so much, gentlemen. How was your weekend?
Yes, it's good that, it rained, yesterday. We were suffering because of the heat, but fortunately for us,
rain cooled it down.
and it cooled it down, throughout the evening yesterday, the afternoon, evening, and this morning, and the drizzling. I love it. At some point when I'm sleeping and it's drizzling, I definitely love that, the sound that it makes on my roof.
Why?
Yeah, at some point I love it. I don't know why. It gives me a very good feeling.
It can be therapeutic. When I lived in Europe and elsewhere, it's the thing I miss most about Africa is the raindrops on the corrugated iron roof, or corrugate as they call it here.
Exactly.
On the corrugated iron roof. It's lovely sound, and I missed it. And when I came back and I heard it again, I thought, I remember this from my childhood.
And the funniest thing is, sometimes the things that people don't like, that's what I like. When there is too much noise, that's the time
What?
Balde, Emily Otamit, Mr. Ade.
When there is noise,
You don't like noise?
no, when there is too much noise, that's the time I sleep
Mr.
very
Ade.
well. You understand?
Me, I'm not interested.
No, at
Please.
some point. No,
Hey,
you see, this
please.
is against human right. I'm telling her what I want. Jennifer, this is against human right. You understand? So if Jennifer is sitting here advocating for people's right, this is my right.
Your right to speak.
This is what I love.
It's what
I
you
love it when there is too much noise. That's the time I sleep very well.
That's
I sleep in noise.
So I'm going to tell the reggae sound system to come and play
Mr.
outside.
Ade,
Exactly.
people can
Every
interpret
night.
this differently, and I'm not interested.
You're not interested.
No,
I'm
there is
not.
nothing
Billahi
like
wa laita.
Jennifer.
I know
Okay.
it's noisy good.
Listen,
It's against
you
her
believe
human
in,
rights.
You
She
believe
said
in
she's not
human
interested.
rights.
Yes,
You believe in
that
human
she's
rights.
not
You believe
interested.
in personal right. You believe in right. This is my right. This is what I love. I love doing it. I love sleeping while there is too much noise. Noise can be attributed to maybe a sound system. Noise can be attributed a huge traffic.
Mabay.
Kon baña. Kon na bañ.
Mr. Ade,
Let
how
my
was your
reviews.
weekend?
My
I don't
weekend
know.
was very quiet.
Okay.
Father's Day yesterday, so lots of relatives were sending me messages. I think everybody sent me a message on Father's Day except my son, and so he will have questions to answer. Even my ex-wife sent me a Father's Day message, and my son did not. So, and not that we've had any argument or anything.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he's just too damn busy and he forgot.
Okay.
But,
I don't send Father's Day or Mother's Day messages.
Yeah, I send Mother's Day messages to all my relatives and friends who are mothers.
Okay.
And on Father's Day, I send messages to my friends and relatives who are fathers.
Yeah, but at a personal level, I don't send it out. I don't know why that is. I don't like. I can't remember sending Mother's Day or Father's Day to mom.
Either you do or you don't.
Yeah, I just don't.
No, with me, when my mother was still alive, of course, we would always go and visit her on Mother's Day. My father died many years ago, so we didn't get into any of that. But I'm sure had he been alive, we would have celebrated it with him.
Yeah, I think for me, it's about the fact that probably I did not grow up with them.
That's...
Yeah, I did not grow up with my mom and dad.
Yeah,
so for some reason, I just can't find a reason to kind of wish them because of, I feel like you wish these things, remembering childhood memories and stuff, and I do not have any.
Yes,
so for me, I don't feel the urge to really do it.
I have a cousin who grew up with her grandmother.
Yeah.
And it really was difficult to convince her that her parents were her parents, her mom and dad. And they lived literally 5 to 10 minute walk away. And so the father, who was married to my dad's sister, had decided that, one of his daughters, he had 10 children. He thought one of his daughters should grow up with his mother.
Yeah.
And so she lived there. And she always identified her grandmother as her mother. And she was like 15, 16 before she finally would accept that, yes, my mother is my mother, not my grandmother is not my mother. And they had a special bond. In fact, so special that they actually died within the same week.
Oh, look at that.
The grandmother died, and then 4 days later, she died.
Oh my God. Oh,
You know,
wow,
this Father's Day, Mother's Day thing, I think the Mother's Day, it's far famous than the Father's Day. I mean,
yes.
I realized it's Father's Day late in the afternoon. Can you imagine? And, you know, we're sending love to all the fathers out there, those that wake up very early in the morning, you know, go to the field, try to provide for the family. You know, I'm not saying mothers are not doing the same. They are doing the same. I don't want you to attack me.
I will.
You
I
know.
will jump on you
But
right away.
I mean, it's unfair the way we treat men.
I'll tell
too.
you how unfair it is. Somebody
You know,
posted yesterday, an American said, when it's Mother's Day, you all tell us, let us take our mother to a restaurant and treat her and give her a nice time. When it's Father's Day, you all say, let's have a barbecue and let Dad do all the barbecuing. He said that is unfair. So,
well, for me,
I
almost every day is a Father's Day for me. At some point, I chill with my dad. We sit together. We brew attire together. Sometimes my dad brew attire. You know, we session, he brew attire and pass the boys. We all do these things together. Sometimes we do these things together. We sit and chat. Sometimes we sit, chat, you know, try to argue and disagree on certain things, you know. We have that relation.
That's lovely.
That relationship.
That is lovely.
And I think on Mother's Day or on Father's Day, people like us who are yet to like have children, we also have to like use the opportunity to kind of like reflect on the kind of life we want our kids to live, you know, and also how we can ensure that we kind of motivate them, because what we do as parents or who we become directly affects the child that we get to bring in, you know, we like it or not. So I think it's also a chance for us, the young ones, you know, who are yet to have children, to kind of put having kids part of our plans. I do not think really people get to plan. It's not something that people get to plan or put part of their plans.
No, some people do.
But not everyone.
But in your case, your children will make sure that come Mother's Day, they won't send you any Mother's Day greetings. Because you don't send to them.
No, but it doesn't matter. You know, it's different cases and different scenarios.
Of course.
And believing in it, I do not.
Yeah, I mean, for us, you know, myself and my siblings, we usually tend to get together and discuss. If it's Mother's Day, we would tell jokes about, you know, our mother, you know, when she was alive, things she did. And similarly with Father's Day, we get and we reminisce and we remember them. So, you know, for that, we sort of embrace that, and it's good. It's good.
It is.
That's beautiful.
So you guys, my day started really bad. I'm so sad sitting here right now.
Okay, I don't think you want to tell the...
no, I'm not going to like tell, but it started like really bad.
Well, now you said it, they'll all be wondering.
Oh,
so
you know, it's
you
just one of those days. It's not like as in giving the details, but you know, just connecting it to my week to today, it's not looking smooth. It's not looking good. You know, it's just one of those days. I know you've all had it.
I have had it today, including you. I mean, I came to work and I'd left my dongle.
Okay.
My MiFi dongle at home, and also the connection for my the extension for my external drives. I left that and the dongle at home. So
yeah, don't worry. It is said a bad beginning makes a good ending.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be a good ending.
Okay, and I have a packed day today, like a lot of things to do. I don't even know where to start from, but Yala Bahna, let's see how to approach it and end it.
Yala Bahna, let's rely on that. We'll take a short break.
Yeah, do we need to go for a break, or we need to take a look at our African proverb? I think we have. You're not here. What is our African proverb?
I'm not here today.
No, you're not.
Yes. I thought.
All right, if you want to know the ending, look at the beginning. If you want to know the end, look at the beginning.
Yes.
Look at the alpha and the omega.
Yes. If you want to know the ending, look at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one because you know there's this saying which has become a kind of modern saying where they say, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail.
Right.
And it kind of reminds me of that if somebody plans something well, then the ending will be good because you've thought about it and you've planned it and so on. But if you don't, then you know you can be sure that it's not going to end well. So yeah, I think I like that one. But we still don't know which country it's from.
I mean,
Is it from Gambia?
Sometimes, Mr. Ade, I do not agree with certain saying. If you want to know the ending, look at the beginning. Sometimes you can go to an extent, and the ending turns to be, you know, a good one. like Jennifer
out
just
of
mentioned.
luck.
She said like today she have a very bad.
But we do not know how the day is going to
You
end
understand?
yet.
No, he
But
does.
probably your day will turn out to be the best.
You think so?
Someone can come and give you a lot of money today, and I know your love for money.
I love money.
You love money.
So if
We
you're
love
watching
money.
and you want to make me happy,
Yeah, we love
before
money.
the end of the day,
I
send me some bunch.
I think
Send me a bunch.
we know
I
it's
need
going
it.
to happen because he's going to be the one who's going to give
me
that
a
money.
lot of
So,
money.
you know,
Breakfast. You know
because
you
he doesn't want
and you
your
know
day to
you
end
promised
badly.
me why are you moving on? You promised me breakfast last week. You didn't fulfill it. Are you going to take me to Chop Shop first of all to start my day?
Let's see what's gonna happen before end of this show.
But
Okay.
what is your take on the proverb?
Yeah, the beginning. What's it?
If you want to know the the end,
the
look
end,
at the beginning.
you have to look at the beginning. Yeah, it's just important to plan things. But as I was even saying before, when we were talking about parenting, planning things, ensuring that things are in place to ensure the kids have a smooth life and all of that is important. It also goes with education, the fact that you have to plan things, although sometimes it's not planned. For example, myself, I had to study commerce in school, and which I didn't like, and end up here. Sometimes, this proverb, it's subjective. It depends on what is at hand.
Context. It depends on the context. Yes.
Yeah, it depends on the context that you're using it, but it's not applicable in every situation.
No.
Yeah.
But most proverbs aren't in every situation. But
Yeah.
there are some where it does apply. Yeah.
But there are other beginnings that if you were to take it. Obviously, people will know your downfall is coming very soon. You understand? If people are telling you do not do this thing because it is bad, and you know it is bad, obviously you are foreseeing this person's future, because if he continues doing this thing,
Yes.
it will not be good for the individual.
Well, human beings, we are funny because there are people who they come from a good home, good parents, good upbringing, and they end up being criminals. So they've given them a good start in life and everything, but everybody's different. Every individual is
And
different.
every individual has their
And
part.
they have to take ownership of
Yeah.
the things they do good and bad.
Yeah.
You can give them the preparation for life, how to be good to people, how to be nice to people,
And
how
they-
to be charitable and so on.
they
And they can do all of that, and they can end up doing all of that. But then at the same time, you have somebody who has 6 children,
Yeah.
and they all end up being, because as they grow up and become adults, they become individuals in themselves,
Good
and they make
individuals.
decisions.
Yeah.
And some, you have families where, one member is a murderer, and
Yeah.
the others are not, and
Yeah.
yet they grew up in the same household. So
I don't know.
it's a difficult
Sometimes
when
it's
it comes
it's
to
a really
people.
difficult one, and you ask yourself, it's because this is meant to be. Do you think like that sometimes?
Well,
The
sometimes
issue
you
of
wonder-
destiny,
you wonder.
you're like, this is meant to be then. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing to do to patch it
Well,
up
there
or
are
something.
situations that you can do about situations that obviously they are not good for me. It's left to you for you to change your way.
Sure.
There is nothing like, this is my destiny, I have to continue with it
No,
forever.
obviously not for the individual to continue, but sometimes there are a lot of things that have been done, and changes just don't happen.
There is this
It
child.
happens in certain people's lives.
There is this child, they put this in her head that, they are family, they are not bright students. You understand? They are not bright. So this child was like that in her classroom, that with the idea that, for them, they are family, they are not bright.
Yes.
They are not intelligent.
Right.
You understand? And this is the kind of mentality that she had. And at some point, she explained this to me. It's a different one. And you can always change. You can always change how you think. You can always change. If the beginning is bad, you can change the ending.
Yeah, you can always.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that particular example. When I took over as a manager at the Cabinet Office in the UK, the person who was going to be my boss called me into her room, and she gave me briefing about my staff. She was very dismissive of them. She said they're all stupid, they can't do anything. You know what? I just sat there. And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. One of them is probably watching in America because he tunes in sometimes. And he will, say that what I'm saying is a fact. And, when I finished, I just thought, thank you for that. And I called them all individually, and I spoke to them. And I'm telling you, she could not have been more wrong. they turned out to be highly intelligent people. Thing is, she used to bully them, and they were a bit scared of
That's
her.
the thing.
They didn't challenge her when she made wrong decisions and so on. And so because of that, she thought they were stupid. But I can tell you, it's complete 360-degree change when I took
But
over.
Mr. Ade, that is why we,
So
you know,
can change.
sometimes we talk about leadership. You know, that was a leader. You took a leadership step there when you like had to call them and engage them. You did not come with a preconceived. Already, she told you that, but you could have like approached them with a preconceived mind,
That's it.
where the bullying will get to continue.
Quite.
But someone had to break the chain and be a leader. So you know, people become managers and stuff, but they can't manage people. It's one thing to become a manager. It's another thing to be able to manage people the right way, where you don't bully them. You allow them to speak up their minds, and then you know it goes on smoothly. So I think that's a brilliant example.
I was engaged in training managers, and I'll give this piece of advice to anybody who is a manager.
Yeah.
No matter how many people you're managing, whether it's one person or 20, every time you're dealing with a member of staff, just imagine if I was that member of staff, how would I want to be treated?
Exactly.
Trust me, if you go through life treating people the way you would like to be treated as a manager, you'll have no problems. Just always put yourself in the place of the managed. And then if you still behave that way, then boy, you got problems.
You got problems. Like, don't resign, like leave. Like, say, I can't do it. Mr. Ade, why is it that people can't say they can't do certain things? Like, be just honest to themselves to say, I can't handle this.
No, it's human beings are like that. We can hypnotize ourselves into saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. When really you can, if you switch it around and convince yourself that you can do it. Always think positively and think, yes, I can do it, you know, or I'll try and do it, you know, but it's not easy for everybody.
Yeah. I think this is just my take home from the program today. The fact that however you treat people, just put yourself in their own situation to imagine their feelings and what they're going through before you make a judgment or just maltreat them or something.
Well, I believe, I mean, each and every person, you have something going on with you. I mean, whether it's mentally or psychologically. You know, we are all from different homes.
Right.
Sometimes one can come to work while you are dealing with a lot.
Sure.
You know, and people don't know what you're going through. So that's why it takes a real leader or a real manager to be able to handle such kind of situation. You know, I mean, you should know how a person reacts, how a person behaves at work. I mean, addressing the person according to the professional way that you learn to handle, you know, such kind of situations. But it's difficult.
It is.
It's difficult.
So from there, we will go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll head right on to the newspaper review. We'll be right back.
Sure.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
Welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. So Ibrahim, that's the voice.
Yes, that's the voice here. And some of the headlines of the voice reads, 2022, a year of historical milestone for Gambia. How?
We will find out when we delve into that.
And National Assembly Committee Chair calls for steps to minimize flooding. Embattled agric officials accuses PMO of wrongful dismissal. And of course, tic-tac retreat, implementation plan clock ticking.
What?
Okay.
Say that again.
A whole lot of tic-tac.
Tic-tac what?
Tic-tac retreat, implementation.
Tic-tac retreat.
Yes.
Okay.
Implementation plan clock ticking. All right, that's the vice president. You know, you've been making a whole lot of, I mean, videos these days. I mean,
Yes.
Of course, tricycle drivers plead over ban. More talent discovered at CHE International Drama Poetry Competition. That's what we have.
Okay. Yeah.
I have the point.
yeah, okay.
Shall I go?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
2 girls repatriated from Middle East. We have here on the Point newspapers. In the middle there we have ex-officials. We were dismissed for revealing irregularities at DOA. I don't know whether that's death on arrival or something else, but we'll find out what DOA is.
Yeah.
Sonko announces deaths during anti-government protests. This is not you.
Not me.
This is Ousmane Sonko in Senegal, who they went ahead with the march, even though they were told not to hold it, and he's alleging now that 3 people were killed. OIC Secretary General, all members supporting Gambia summit. And Khalifa Nyasin calls for peace in Senegambia, and that's after he made a visit to President Barrow. Over to you.
Yeah, so police make some arrests here in connection to Kermode Hali incident, and also the National Environment Agency committee explains findings on Mandinari oil spill, and also TRRC recommends a live ban on Yaya Jammeh from holding public office, and fishmongers in Kombo South deny using sniper insecticides to smoke fish. That's all we have here.
And on that last one, I still saw people saying they should be arrested for using sniper, even though they've denied that they use it.
Yeah.
And so we've had lots and lots of allegations that, you know, people are using this sniper, and they're saying that either they should go and arrest these people based on what evidence, I don't know. And so I had
because the
exchanges.
findings.
This is it. I had exchanges with some people.
Yeah.
I said there haven't been any findings that have implicated anybody.
Yeah.
So who are you arresting, and what are you arresting? On what grounds are you arresting people?
Yeah.
So, but there seems this kind of mob justice that you usually get on social media, saying go and arrest these people because they're using sniper.
What grounds are you going to base
on
the
what grounds are you
arrest
arresting people? So
yeah.
we wait for the findings, and we wait for the test results to come back, which haven't come back yet. And I guess if and when they do, then we'll know if people are to be arrested and dealt with. Doubtless, if anybody has been using it, they might stop because there's a threat.
Yeah,
that
there is already.
So,
So I don't think they'll want to go ahead with that. Ibrahima, do you have any interesting headlines there?
All right, let's turn our attention to tricycle drivers plead over ban.
Yes. We've discussed this ban. It seemed, and I'm sure somebody from the police will contact us, the traffic folks, and say that we've banned these tricycle people because the law doesn't allow. But they were given licenses. But apparently when you look in the law, in the statute books, there isn't any statute governing motorized tricycles. So whoever gave them a license should not have done so.
Okay.
And now it is being claimed that they're going to be allowed to go to the end of the license, and then the ban will come into force because, after all, strictly speaking, they are legally on the roads.
Yeah.
Because they have a license saying you're licensed to apply this. So it's a really interesting one. But for me, it points out certain failings in the system.
Yeah.
If you license people and then you find out that the law doesn't actually allow you to license them, because the law doesn't, when it was drawn up, didn't cater for things like this. You know, they weren't around.
Yeah.
So you know, they weren't included in the legislation for around licensing. But that's where we find ourselves. And of course, they're pleading for, you know, beyond December, I think is where it's meant to go. They're saying, look, after December, can we still carry on, and can we be licensed? It shouldn't take much really for somebody to bring a bill to amend,
at least
to amend the law to allow them to ply their trade.
Well, it's important sometimes, I think, to look at things that are very urgent and deal with them. I mean, bring a bill and look at it. I mean, when you look at transport is very important. Yeah. And the tricycles, you know, we're helping people when it comes to plying certain distances.
And in terms of affordability as well. A lot of people say they can afford this, they can't afford that. So for me, we're talking about bringing laws in. For me, a law like that is more important than the kind of laws that journalists are screaming about, you know, remove these laws from the books about, all these kind of things that harness the, that harass the press when they've not been used against anybody. But this one is impacting people's livelihoods, and for me,
the investors as well.
This is more, for me, is more important than repealing various press.
And I saw
laws.
a shop for repairs. So it's like already people were kind of getting used to
Of course.
its existence here, and even starting businesses along those
Exactly.
lines.
Support businesses.
Exactly.
Yes, of
So
course. Yeah.
This is what it does. I mean, it creates employment as well. I mean, you can see before people were not used to it in the Gambia. When you talk about, they call it, is it keke in
Keke,
Nigeria?
yes.
Tuk-tuk. They call it tuk-tuk, keke.
Keke in Nigeria, yes.
Anyway, people are getting used to it. Now let's take a look at 2022, a year of historical milestone for Gambia.
Yes, what are these milestones?
yeah.
Yes, going by the country's timeline, year 2022 has proven to be historical milestone for the Gambia, that historians can recount the numerous development and establishment in the country's history.
So what are they? Do they name some of these historical milestones that we should be
It is a
celebrating?
year of historical milestone for the country, particularly when it comes to anniversary, starting from the Queen of England, 70 years of rule.
What's that got to do with Gambia, apart from her being head of the Commonwealth? I mean, come on. That's not historic for the Gambia. That's historic for the Queen, and for the royal family. But yes, she's the head of the Commonwealth, and she's the longest serving monarch in British history. So, yes, well, yeah. I think I was expecting something a bit more Gambianized than that. But,
Yeah, and I saw how British high commissions across the world, commemorated it.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Of course, and of course they will. You would expect them to. Yeah.
So what is it going to benefit the country? How beneficial is this to the
But
to the
no matter
Gambia?
what, we have to accept that there's Commonwealth, which we are part of. And there are things that we get to benefit through the Commonwealth, no matter what as well.
Oh no, that's a different.
Yeah.
That's a different discussion. But when you say historic milestones,
the
for
historic
Gambia,
milestone bit, I don't get it.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
that.
Well, I think
I wouldn't have put that as one.
Well,
of them.
I
Me
think
too.
before they write this, I'm seeing Hasum Sise on the paper.
Right,
I
right.
think National Center for Arts and Culture
Yeah.
in general, they have a lot to do. They have a lot to focus on
Sure.
when it comes to our sites. I mean, the heritage sites here.
Yeah.
When it comes to the arts, when it comes to certain things in the country, I think they have a whole lot of things to do. When they do that already, they can come to the paper and write.
But not only that, because obviously they're also in charge of our National Museum. And I don't think the National Museum gets as many visitors as it should get.
Yeah.
And also, there's a real deficit in terms of people knowing about their history, the history of the Gambia. And I think, a lot more of that needs to be taught. And you can find it, you can see when Korka goes out and he asks questions.
Yeah.
I'm usually horrified,
Yeah.
things that I think every Gambian should know, and then maybe 2 people out
No.
of 20 will answer. So there's obviously something missing there in how we teach our history and the importance we attach to it. And it's important to know your history. The whole thing about if you don't know where you're from, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
There's a reason. We're not just teaching it because it happened. We're teaching it because it has led to where we are today
Yeah.
and where we should be tomorrow.
Well, don't you think the reason why our history is dying out? I mean, I think people are not very keen and very serious in studying their history. I mean, I think the westernization of certain things are also affecting us. I mean, we don't find out. Some people don't even know where Jufure Island is.
Not only that, somebody would ask, why are we speaking English here? Why? Because this place was once colonized by the British who spoke English. That's why we're speaking English. That's why English is what is spoken in our National Assembly.
Yeah.
So, questions like that, people need to go back and find out why is it that, these things. Just today, I downloaded a map which said the British possessions in West Africa, and it mentioned Gambia, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and Nigeria. Possessions, imagine, we were their possessions as far. So these things are important.
that's huge.
That we were once, and that's why, of course, we're members of the Commonwealth. So yeah, there is an importance there to learning historical matters, and I think the civic education people and the NCAC, they have a huge task on their hands to get people interested in this.
The NCAC, I don't know how far with their project on this heritage, the pictures we discussed, it was all over the place. You know, I don't know how far with that. Maybe, but Smiling Coast is not on anymore, so we can't depend on it to get information in relation to that.
I can't even remember who hosted that program. But
Smiling Coast?
I used to enjoy it,
Well, I mean, very soon
it
will soon be the beginning of another tourist season.
What happened to Smiling Coast? It only airs during the tourist season?
Not actually. I think there are things that GT board is trying to regularize. Then from there, then we will sign the contract again.
I think they're trying to change. I think they're trying to change the host.
Oh, they don't want the host anymore.
We start our Smiling Coast.
You think they want me?
I think they want.
Maybe they want me. You never know.
I mean, the host was doing his thing. He was doing his thing as well.
And with the piece, the cameras, and walking forward and all of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
do you have a story for us, Jennifer?
Yeah, we already dealt with one, which is the fishmongers in Combo South denying the use of sniper insecticides. We also discussed the issue of the oil spill, so we have to wait for, you know, more developments to come out of it. Obviously, the TRRC recommends live ban on Yaya Jammeh. It's them still breaking down some of the TRRC recommendations here as well. And also here we have that a National Assembly member for Serekunda, the National Assembly member for Serekunda rather, donates towards reconstruction of makeshift bridge in London Corner. The bridge is right behind them. It's not looking good. It's not safe at all here. So there's this bridge with gutters underneath. So the National Assembly member is trying to contribute to them actually constructing. But, you know, in as much as the National Assembly member contributes, then we also need, you know, the government or other stakeholders to join hands, because, you know, at the end of the day, what that person's donating, can it, you know, put up a solid bridge? Because what I'm seeing behind here is wood and stuff, not looking good.
Not a firm structure.
It's not a firm.
Which area is this?
It's in Serekunda, London Corner.
London Corner.
Doesn't look firm at all. So my question is, you know, about people coming together. It's not just, let's have something structured where we do not need to donate again.
Sure. It should be, I mean, it should be something that they should refer to the council.
Yeah.
And the council should go around and look at areas that need this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then see, okay, we need this because, you know, there's a community that's being affected by not having a solid, proper structure. So it will be interesting to find out, you know, how that ends up.
Yeah, it's important.
It should go beyond National Assembly members.
Yeah, but anyway,
donating.
it's important that
they could donate some of their clothing allowance.
Yeah, and I think it's expected that some of their clothing allowance and stuff they will be donating more often. At the end of the day. They might. Someone can come out to say, "Oh, no, in fact, I will give my clothing allowance."
No, I've seen someone started doing it. I mean, I saw someone, a National Assembly member. I'm not sure which area.
Yeah.
I mean, he, like, according to what they said, he donated his 100,000 to his people so that they can work on a borehole.
Okay.
Cool. You know, so
for the 100,000 for the clothing.
Exactly. Yeah, so that they can at least drill a borehole for his people. I think.
So the ones who are going to accept it, we need to have a person vetting to see if they are using their 100,000.
The thing is, they
have to look good.
I had some exchanges with some.
Absolutely.
You have to get proper designer.
I had exchanges with some people on you know, social media, and I was saying to them that you're all making a lot of noise about 100,000. How many of you spend close to that or more on clothing in a year for weddings, funerals, Korite, Tobaski, etc., etc., and just for those?
Yeah.
And after I posted that, suddenly it went all quiet.
Yeah.
And then one person only responded when there'd been lots of people commenting on it. One person responded saying, well, they get lots of other allowances. Why do they need this one? Which is a fair point.
Yeah.
It's a fair point.
But anyway, as long as they look good, then let them wear proper suits.
They have to look
They
good.
better look sharp.
Or they employ, okay, let's do it this way. I'm recommending that. As long as they have this 100,000 for clothing, let them empower our local designers. The money can go back to our local designers by them saying, okay, the whole of this year, here's my 100,000, you are going to dress me. For example, Malik Mendy Tailoring, you're going to dress me. ML Creation, you're going to dress me. For the money to come back.
But make sure,
yes,
as much as you want to empower our local designers,
yeah,
let the local designers do good.
No, they are doing well.
I mean,
they're doing well.
Well, they are doing
but
well.
let them come out to say, okay, this is the money. It's meant for
I'm
clothing.
I'm speaking from experience. Yes, I
But
had my experience. I mean, you know, sometimes it's important. People will say, you leave your Gambian brothers to go to a foreigner and give him business. Yes. I mean, there was a time someone called me, I wouldn't mention names. This guy said to me, it's a manager from QCell. I mean, this guy, maybe he's even listening or watching.
We hope so.
He said to me, the guy that you advertise on TV, I want his number. I've seen, I was in Sierra Leone, I've seen everything that he does.
Okay.
Please link me. I linked him. Yes. The guy got a disappointment of his life.
It happens.
Oh, a big disappointment of his life. He said to me, came back to me and said, Balde, the guy that you gave me his number, this guy is a big disappointment. I cannot even...
But that happens. Mr. Ade, you know how tailors can be. Sometimes they just, you know, take too much and can't handle it. But generally, to be honest, it's really changing when it comes to the trend here and what these Gambian designers are capable of doing. Sometimes they do things that you even think it's ready-made. You know, it's like done.
The quality is
good.
No, I know.
Good.
They are doing good. We are seeing things. Look at the Tobaski Act strike.
Exactly.
Just look at it. I mean, but I mean, it will not prevent us from telling them, make sure you do good and be very honest.
No, I think sometimes you're lucky or unlucky. I had one tailor who came to my house when I was newly in the Gambia. I'd only been here about 6-7 months. He measured me and everything else. And
he gave you a different measurement.
When the kaftans came, the top, I couldn't even get my arm into the
no way
thing. When I got it over my head,
your arm was sticking out like this.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe he did it as a joke. I don't know, but
this is what happened to my guy. I mean, he said this shirt was too big for me.
But anyway, I think it's a chance for National Assembly members.
For sure.
They should look at it.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah, let them empower our local
by spending
it's $100,000
with good local.
Exactly.
tailors.
Let them go to our good local stores. We are complaining that 100,000 is a lot of money, but if it's inward.
But why are people complaining? It's 100,000 money. It's not money. 100,000 is not a lot of money.
You don't look
compared to the things that they have to get. It's not a lot of money.
What they were saying is that, and as I said, people were complaining, but the one person who did have a comeback said that they get lots of other allowances. Why do they need this one as well? They get paid as well. It's not like they're doing it. They're not there for charity.
Even new presenters don't get allowances. Us that are always on TV.
I mean, 100,000. That's about as much as the QTV people get.
We don't get. I don't get an allowance every month to look good, and it's most of the time it's our own salary.
When was the last time I got my? My clothes allowance. When was the last time?
Mr. Ade, let's be honest. And we are even receiving less than
Why
them.
are you telling the viewers?
No, I'm just, anyway, it's a slip. It just came out.
Man, so many National Assembly member. So me you 100,000, my dad do 10,000, madam is my own. Simple.
All right. And to think we started talking about, so I've worked out that this DOA is not dead on arrival, it's Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
So these officials who've been sacked are saying that they were sacked because they revealed irregularities. I saw in fact, this photograph is actually taken from the online page of one online broadcaster who broadcast the story, and that's where they've taken this picture. It's a screenshot. When I looked at it, I thought, but of course, when you hear a story like that, you have to ask the other side, because they're making quite a serious allegation.
They are.
And so you wouldn't just go with the story. But, you know, having flicked through the story, it says, in pursuit of the truth, we visited the PERMSEC of the Ministry of Agriculture, who acknowledged that everything that happened was a serious administrative error and an abuse of office.
Oh.
So that's, they're quoting, and they named the person here,
okay.
Mr. Hassan Jallo. So I'm quoting from the newspaper, which surprised me. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether these people are reinstated. Yeah. Having raised this serious allegation. Second one, 2 girls repatriated from the Middle East. Foundation Against Trafficking and Fatim. I think we had them on here. Yeah, they were like last week Thursday. Yes, and Sonko announced his death during anti-government protests. Yeah. Ousmane Sonko, Senegalese opposition has said these people were killed. And they spoke.
So what's your take on the whole situation
in
Senegal?
Senegal? It's interesting because, you know, a lot of people came out because they said that, you know, this guy had been framed with the case of, you know, allegation of, you know, sexual, you know, violence against a young woman, and that it was because he was seen as a threat to the president. And of course, you know, in the world we live in, it's the kind of story that people find easy to buy.
Yeah.
We have a similar case in Sierra Leone, although the one in Sierra Leone is quite terrible because the guy who did stand for president in the last election, but he got like 0.0% of the vote, he was accused of having raped somebody, but he's been in custody now for 7 months. He's been charged, but he's not been brought to court.
Why?
So, and they're saying that, you know, even though they've taken his passport, they're not going to release him until the case is because of the seriousness of the case. And now people are screaming, he should be freed.
Yeah.
He was a threat to the president. I'm like, sorry, somebody who got 0.1% in the last election is a threat to the president.
Yeah.
It's a joke. He's not. But you do wonder how they can justify keeping somebody in custody for that length of time, although it's a serious allegation, obviously.
It is.
But yeah.
Do you realize we did not have coffee today?
Yeah, we don't.
There's a reason we didn't have
Thank
coffee
you
today.
so much
A pleasure.
for joining us
As
on
always.
the newspaper review.
Thank you.
We will now go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll head right on to either the community watch or the social issue. Either ways, we'll be right back.
Bangko bela mura, andung ala internet o tariata sidula sabah katambi nyongola. Saung sahin, yesta 335 has kumandi. Yada di kemuna fang 4G sobeol. QCell, Gambia la network lanna yaringo.
Q Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply. Check out the all-new Tigo 8 at S-Pass Motors. Call 3522-222 or 353-2222 for more information. Cherry.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning, and now we're on our social issues, talking about sexual and reproductive health education. And you know, this is not a new topic at all. This is the program by Phoebe and Aina Grant on strengthening access to quality comprehensive health education in the Gambia. You know, we've talked about the little details as to the problems when it comes to adolescent parents. So now today we're talking about the most recent activity that you're up to, which has to do with you know, organizing drama competitions and, you know, further engagements to ensure that these kids understand it at a grassroots level. So how has it been going? How has it been going?
Thank you, Geneva. Thank you, Balde, for inviting me to QTV once again. As Geneva mentioned, my name is Phoebe Aina Grant. I'm the principal investigator, comprehensive health education in the Gambia, hosted by Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, funded by International Development Research Center in Canada, IDRC. So what we are currently doing is we are implementing based on the research findings that we got last year.
Yeah.
Because the research findings have shown us that there is a gap called communication, and some of these gaps are lack of knowledge regarding menstruation, menstrual cycle, ovulation, unwanted and unplanned pregnancy, unsafe abortion, sexually transmitted diseases, utilization of contraceptive, gender-based violence, in bracket, rape, incest, early or forced marriage, as well as female genital mutilation in Region 1. So it was only in Region 1. Now, for better understanding of the students, we implementing what we call inter-schools comprehensive health education among in-schools to test their knowledge, because most students, for better understanding, they can understand through performance. So what we did was, since it was 43 schools that participated in the research, now we selected randomly 26 schools to divide it into two, because this is the median competition. So 26 schools from the upper basic and senior secondary school, both boys and girls, from grade 7 to grade 12. They're acting based on it, and we started in Banjul. That is we started through orientation first, schools in Banjul as well as in KMC. We did the orientation by giving them topics and also the themes where we want them to focus on, that is affecting everyday life. So in Banjul, we started with 7 schools. We had 4 senior secondary schools as well as 3 upper basic schools. They perform through these research findings, and from there, out of the 7 schools, we have 5 schools that qualified to go for the semi-finals. So in KMC, we have about 24 schools. The both upper basics, we have about 12 schools, and senior secondary school, we have 12 schools. So from the upper basic elimination round, we eliminated 6 and took 6. And as well as the senior secondary, we eliminated 6 and took 6. Then from there, you have the qualified schools in Banjul versus the qualified schools in KMC. They did the semi-finals, and during the semi-finals, we have about 15 schools that participated. And out of the 15 schools, we have about 10 schools that qualified for the finals. And it has been so amazing for the past 1 month. Even students, once they are even eliminated, imagine they cry like baby.
Oh no.
They cry so much. And some of them, they didn't, like the teachers who coordinated them, they didn't know that they were victims based on what they are performing.
Oh, look at that.
Some of them have been victims of rape, and they acted as rape. You know, they cried emotionally whilst they are performing. Some of them have been like a victim of incest. You know, victim of STDs because they have been having discharges, victim of abortion. They don't know. So most of these things were being acted, and it's really making them to understand very well. Because most students, after the program, they always take my number and send me a message and say, oh, Ma, I really see myself in what I am doing, and this is what I can understand right now. We wish we have someone to inform us about this. We wish our teachers are teaching us like the way they are training us to perform this. We wish our parents sit us down, as you sat us down to understand what we are really living, facing in this country, and what they finally conclude. They say, we wish this can be an upgoing thing. Though it is the median, it's the first time that we are doing it, and we're planning to do another one maybe late end of this year. So as I mentioned, it's a funded project. We didn't look for any funds. What we are doing is based on what they have funded us. And most students mentioned that they want it to be scaled up to other regions. Not only them, everybody now is talking about it, that we have to go to other regions, though we have limited funds and we have to just focus where they give us the money. But whenever we have funds, we don't mind going to other regions to talk about these things.
What do you do, I mean, to engage parents as well? Because it's important. Most of these things, to discuss them, it's like a taboo to certain people. And it have to start from the house itself. So what are you doing to engage parents to put this understanding in them that, I mean, your children, you need to engage them on certain things?
Yes, normally we go to communities, because this project is not only in schools, but it's in and out of school. We go to communities whenever they call us. So just like last week Friday, community in Banjul, from Banjul North, South, and Central, all the wards, they invited us, the team, to go and talk to the parents. And imagine, even the parents are, what they mentioned even, how can we engage the teachers to teach our children? Most parents lamented this because they lack knowledge about what to tell their kids. Because sometimes you will tell your kid or your child something different, and at the end, when they go to the school, also it's different. Now, when they face the society, also it's different. So we have to have just a correct curriculum to talk about these things, because most parents initially they thought that it's like they're teaching, the school is teaching their young ones about sex, and it's not about sex. We're talking about sexuality. When one parents just heard the word sex, they think about the action based, but sexuality is knowledge based. You talk about the body and puberty, from menarche to menopause. Inform the child what is going on, what's going to happen in the future, because the child will always be misled or misinformed by peers or social media or even the society. So I believe that what we are doing, we are engaging this project. We have trained parents in Banjul as well as in KMC from different wards. In KMC, we had trained in the 19 wards. Each ward we have gathered 30 parents in each ward, as well as in Banjul in the 9 wards. So we inform the parents by going to them. The ward councillors, they mobilize the parents. The alcalolos, including the ward councillors in KMC, they mobilize the parents. So in KMC, we have someone called the community facilitator in KMC that engage the parents in each ward, as well as in Banjul, we have a community facilitator that engage in parents in ward. So we are transmitting the information. We are reaching everybody that who are interested. We're not forcing, but anyone who heard about this, they normally come out. Giving them transport, without transport or giving them transport, they always come in and listen, because I know that most of them have really learned about this thing, because they don't have an idea, they don't have a knowledge. And for me, what I always do is I'm very open. I tell them the fact and everything that they need to hear, and which they always appreciate.
So were the kids trained before the drama, or?
No, the kids in schools were in trained. What we did after the research, we went back and disseminated what they gave us. Because you know, in the Gambia here, when you do research, you don't go back to where you got the information. You just keep the information or you just publish it. For what we did before publishing this thing, we went back to the schools and disseminate the information we got from each school. All the schools, after analyzing, we went back and disseminated the information, which they really appreciate. But I believe that it's not enough. That's why we are doing performance-based to understand what we got from the research. Then now they understand based on performance. So in each level, it's not only the participants that comes in. They have supporters from their schools. They come
amazing.
in.
So which means
it's always crowded. It's always crowded. The first was in Banjul at St. Joseph's High. The second and third elimination was at Gaskai. It always full. The semi-final was at Semigajane. It was so crowded. And now we are preparing for the finals, which is on a Friday. This Friday at Ebunjang Theatre. We're expecting a lot of dignitaries. We have already 3 ministers who have confirmed. The UNFPA, World Bank, UNICEF, and other NGOs and CSOs have confirmed. We have some alcalolos and also ward councillors and women representatives, the honorables for child and also health, they have confirmed. A lot of dignitaries, and even this morning, some students text us, you asked us to come only in 5, just to chair up our schools. But we're not coming in 5, but we are coming in hundreds.
No way.
So at Ebunjang Theatre,
fit there?
I don't even know what, because everybody heard about this already. It's already disseminated. Then people are always, they are ready to come. Imagine last week Friday, it wasn't the day, but people called me, we are at the hall, nobody is here. So they are preparing to attend.
You know, the impact is already
there. The impact is already there. The impact is already there.
Anyway, and it's a good thing that you're inviting all these other NGOs, so they can take it up from there to continue it and spread it out onto other regions.
Yes, and you know, this drama we have, it's not only like they're just performing and we watch. We have judges also from different categories, from health, from education, from the artists, the CSOs. You saw Mariama, right? Yes, Mariama is also, and Jibusedi is also part of the judges. So we have 6 judges, and they judge them based on their different criteria, their grammar, their language, like the performance, the suits, what they wear, and also the timing. We have 8 characters from each school, and 10 minutes for each performance. And since at the beginning, we had about 2,400 students that participated, that acted in this for the past 1 month, and now we are only limited to 80 characters who will be performing that day.
So which
10
means the
schools,
information has already been
10
spread out.
schools, 8 characters for 10 minutes.
Okay.
And they are acting based on the research findings.
Okay, looking forward to the day.
Yeah.
Exactly, interesting. I mean,
Yes.
I think this is important. I mean, these are things that we need in our society. Can you tell us if a child approach you, I mean, a child that has been sexually violated, I mean, how do you console this child?
Yes, this is very pathetic. Some of them have been victims. So, but what we always, I personally as a health worker and now a reproductive health specialist, we have an office in my office. We have also people in our team that are guardian and counselors under the Basic and Secondary Education Directorate. But for me personally, I always call them and console them. This has happened because most of the time, the way they come in, they ask me, oh, Vivian, I have been suffering from lower abdominal pain during my menstruation. Most of them, that's how they started. And they will explain that how, and I will probe them in. How? Has it been something regular? Say yes, okay. This next step is, have you ever engaged yourself into intimate relationship? Say, no. Are you in a relationship? They will say yes. Have you been having sex with someone? They will pause. Later on, they will open up. Yes, but just small. You understand? Have you used contraceptive, family planning? Are you using the family planning? Say yes. What method of family planning are you using?
Right.
Are you using the barrier method, like the condom? They say no. Are you using the pills or the injection or the implant? They say yes. Say why? Are you married? No. So these are things that are really happening. They are not married, they are using contraceptive, they are having sex. But at the same time, those sex, they don't know that they will have what we call sexually transmitted diseases. For our research findings have shown us that young ones, they use the condom just to protect themselves from not getting pregnant. But some of them, they're using family planning not to get pregnant, but they don't want to get pregnant, but they don't know that they can acquire what we call sexually transmitted disease. So those kids who are already been violated, now they are sexually active. That's why they are not using the condom. They want to use only the other hormonal methods, not to get pregnant. So those things already, this part of them. But what I always tell them is, since they have already engaged themselves into sexual life, they have to try and use the barrier method,
which is the condom,
to avoid getting STD.
Yeah.
So if someone who has already been victim of rape and has not been engaged into sexual life, I always emphasize to at least hold themselves, to abstain from it, to avoid other consequences that can come over into their life.
Do you explain to them, aside from the STD, some of the complications that the hormonal ones can bring with the spotting?
Of course.
You know, sometimes they don't see their period, they don't understand, you know, all of those things.
Yes. I think last week, I think one of my colleagues also talked about these things, Sinabu. So, like, most of the time, we do explain to them, like, the 28th of May, I was invited to two organizations to go and talk about this, and I did mention all of those things. So, some of them explained to me, oh, we never knew about this. Some of them, they told them, I hope you are protecting yourself from not to get, like, to be infected. Say, oh, but we are using the pills and the injection. Are your parents aware? Oh man, no, they cannot be aware. We just enjoy as life. I told the hormonal method, they have lots and lots of side effects as a young girl. It's not that it cannot, if you use the hormonal method, it doesn't mean that you can't get pregnant, but you can get pregnant because not all contraceptives are 100%. So we explain to them the side effects, the consequences, the dangers behind this thing if it's not used properly. Because if at all a young girl starts using these hormonal methods and use it for 5 years, each hormonal method should not be exceeded more than 5 years. If at all you use the pills, the injection, or the implant, after 5 years you have to remove it. But I do tell them the danger signs of these hormonal methods, the side effects, and what it can lead in the future. Sometimes it can cause infertility, but not actually the hormonal methods that causes the infertility, but when using the hormonal methods, the pills, the injection, or the implant, because of the relationship you are engaging with that man, you can acquire STD, either gonorrhea and syphilis, and those infections are already inside the womb, and it goes up from the uterus to the fallopian tube, it blocks it, that causes the sterility, wherein you won't be able to have a child child again because already infection has already accumulated accumulated there and stored there without you knowing, without you going for treatment. And when one acquire STD, most of the time in the Gambia here, you won't go to the hospital, you just go to the pharmacy and get over-the-counter medication.
Get some tabs,
and get the thing. Pharmacies are here just to make money, just the marketing. But you have to go. STD, you won't know until you go to the hospital. For a woman, you wouldn't know. Some don't have the side effects, like the chlamydia, is not known. You can sit with it for 2-3 years, you wouldn't even know you have STD. But for a man, a woman can have gonorrhea and sit down because we have 2 passages wherein liquid pass. But for a man, for a boy, you can have gonorrhea and syphilis. You won't be able to sit for even 2 days in your house because you'll be licking. You think that it's sperm coming out, but it's just an infection that you acquire through sexual intercourse, and that leads to sexual transmitted disease. And the disease now is an infection called gonorrhea or syphilis. So these things are really happening in our society, and young ones. It's very complicated.
It's a very complicated one because you just talked about how these kids are sexually active. They're having sex, they're using contraceptive, but they're like, my mom can't know. Because I mean, sometimes I can't just walk my head around it because at the end of the day, they can't go tell their parents.
No way.
No, it's a no-go area.
It's a no-go area.
And then they're going to get sick as well.
And the funniest thing,
they're already doing it.
Yeah, and the thing is, some of them, it's not their fault. Some parents even ask them to go and get what their colleagues are getting. Imagine a child come and say, oh, mom, today I need to buy bulk spent and this. They say, oh, don't you see how your colleagues are working to get money? Why should you ask me? That is true evidence-based research. When I had this focus group discussion with the kids, and they informed me that some parents, they ask me because they say, ma, it's not my fault why I am sexually active. My mom, if I ask anything, or my dad, they will say, oh, then you see how your kids your colleagues are getting. So why not go? Some kids will just come and give their parents 2,000 or 3,000. The parent will just say, ah, they're not ligay biyoko. May you get it multiple times. Your child, you know, your child is not working. Where do you expect your child to get 2,000 or 5,000 to give to as a parent? And you say you're blessing your child. You know that your child, now what? That's why we have a lot of sex workers, actively sex workers outside. You see them getting money. In the morning, they come and give their kids. And they are young adolescents, ranging from 15 to 19 years of age. And we are focusing in that age. Because it's very critical. The most critical stage for adolescents is ages between 15 to 18. It's the most critical. You don't want anybody to control you. You don't want no one to rectify you. You think that you know above, like you are above the wall. You know more than your parents. You know more than your guardians. You know more than your counselors. So sometimes it's very difficult to sit them down. But there are always approaches. There are always strategies where you can communicate with the child, and the child will always listen to that individual.
What age range do you find out? I mean, young girls or boys are involved in the sexual activities?
Yes, age for the Gambia here, what I know, it doesn't matter the age. Whenever the child have the access, they go. But the most critical stage, as I mentioned, is between 13 to 18 years of age. That is the adolescent and to young adults. It's very, very critical. Sometimes the kids, they are sexually active at the age of 13, once they start seeing the period. Sexually active. And some of them, as I have seen, last week even, one of them told me, oh, my mom always sent me to a particular place to go and sell. After school, to go and sell. But my parents will always direct me to that place. And the man will always, what? Come in and say, oh, come, I will buy everything. Later on, what do you think? After you give the child amount of money, more than what she's selling. Every time the girl will go there, this uncle is giving me money. And at the end, it's give and take, you know. Because nowadays, men, they know the young ones, they like money. Give and take. Now the corridor is coming, or the Tabasco is coming. Every girl wants to have a shovel here.
That is why the men should take up the responsibility. But now, you know, it's collective. The men should, the parents should.
Yes, it's everybody's responsibility. Now we are saying that, okay, just last week I was on air on one of the radio stations. Someone just mentioned that nowadays, young girls, give me, I give you. You will see, oh, every time I'm giving you, why can't you give me? Say, okay, just give me small and I will give you small. There is no small in this relationship. Once ever the penis enters the vagina, that's it. Whatever can comes in, does it. either pregnancy or either STD.
I know there is an elder sitting out there and saying kii lu moo wax
waaw kii lu moo wax ni waaye dégg nga
ko def ñu si dox ci lu bon
kañ lu nekk lu
there's no small in this when it enters when it enters
waaye ñu war a take responsibility xam nga lu waa wax na ne xale bu amut age boobu noonu xale bu amut 18 su ñëwee sa ne la maa ngi nii
waaw
nga tëddoo ko comme there's nothing like child sex amut rape moo am child sex amut de
soo jëy
déedéet xale bu simeeku xale bu am 15 years mu simeeku sa kanam ne la maa ngi nii sax rape la du sex su duggee simeeku sa warloo koo tëddoo waaw warloo koo tëddoo
balde
rape la du sex
su yëngalee sa ay cër sax su yëngalee sa ay cër yow loolu rape la
not rape no rape la
let's be very honest xam nga sometimes we tend to blame these people we should not blame them
no what I'm saying that's why I want to say to talk about right now Luau has said this. Law said this.
Wow.
A, B, and C.
Wow.
But in terms of intimacy, there is no law in that.
There
because
no
men
law.
are weak.
Wow.
Come on, let me tell you. Men are men. Not all. No.
Man,
I'm just plain. I'm just natural. I just tell you. Let me tell you. Law muneli. Why halebi waluta dem simeko because yena gori. Yena ba so le changa ngai roma sa yena gori ngina attract. yaa ngi understand taxul nga tëddoo ko waaye danga wax nag moom ma wax mooy danga wala contrôle sa bopp not everybody can control him or herself
amut fenn ay na uyu wax boobu bu si ay na nañ waxante dëgg
xam nga man
nañ waxante dëgg te tey may ma rek noppi
xam nga ne
dégg nga kii lu mu wax xale bu ndaw ñëw laal cëri góor sax
déedéet dama ne yow nga ñëw dugga si néegi góor nga romba sa
xamuloo ne xale la
nga romba sa cëri yaay ak sa xamul lu moo def nga ñëw dugga léegi nañ ko jël ni comme tey néegi korka nga ñëw dugga foofu noonu korka mi nga xam ne bandi la ba pare dof la nga yëngal ay cëram ba pare nga ne yow danga koo bàyyi loolu rape la
rape waaw
loolu is it rape
waaw rape la parce que xale bi amut 18 xale bu am 15 years for instance loolu du sexe loolu rape la parce que xale bi amut 18 loi moo ko wax rape mooy xale bu amut 18 years
even loolu sax
ngeen am intercourse rape la
nga force ko nga tëddoo
even soo ko force te su ñëwee mu ne la maa ngi nii
rape that ma ne sax rape sax am na si néegi sëy because sa jabar dafa ne pare maa ngi lii yow góor ga jëkkëram nga waa ne jëkkëram nga waaye ne pare nga da nga war a understand loolu rape la soo tëddee moom bi rape la that's reproductive
marital rape
no you people are making this very allow me to pass my files man ma génn fii because the way you people are behaving here mënuma understand
góor yi ñu ngi rape seen jabar yi si
one more thing xam nga wax naa fii nii one more thing wax naa about GBV gis nañ fii si société bi fii papa dafa biiral doomam loolu naa ko ooyee
ban jigéen moo fee force góor
ma ne papa dafa biiral doomam si research bi
ban jigéen la fi mun a
amee gaada yee adults yi parents association papa dafa incest doomam biiral ko
waaw loolu la day am
waaw boobu nag boobu du rape de boobu incest la because relationship la papa ak doom mag ak raka nijaay ak jarbaat loolu incest la te mi ngi bari si biir dëkk bi xale yaa ngi koo act c'est suñ play bii nii papa bi si boppam moo ñëw gis ko mi ngi nelaw mu laal ko moo tax danga benn xaleel mi ngi right now mi ngi 9 years old last 2 months yi dafa ñëw si man ñu waxtaan nii ko moom single parent papa moo ko amee li nga gis papa daf dee mën a am ay boys tamit day ñëw campé si kër bi léegi xale bi dafa ñëw dafa ma taxabe ne ma anti Aina ma xool ko rek ma ne ko yaa ngi nekk a big girl now yaa ngi approach early adolescent mooy about 10 years old ma ne ko léegi looy def mooy sooy solu bul solu ak sa nga def yaram bi ne sa kanami papa bul solu ba pare bul nangu kenn mu laal sa ween yi mu ne ma ma suma papa sa bu mu ko laal ma ne ko sa papa bu mu ko laal de sooy solu nga dem si wanag bi nga solu ba baax bu kenn gis sa cër ba pare bul dem nangu sa oncle yi ñu ne la kaay toog sama kaw de bul nangu loolu noonu tamit de mu ne ma anti Aina xale bi léegi nga suma gisi daf dee daw si mu ne ma anti Aina maa ngi bàyyi xel bu baax loo maa wax understand nga loolu yëpp ko sa nga gis ne papa bi na ne man dama nopp suma doom dama bëgg suma doom su moom rek laa am si doom bu jigéen waaye da nga gis yenn saay because papa bi jabar bi nekku fa yenn saay da nga daf dee am temptation pour dema laal yéen certain parts of the girl moo tax ñoo aayee tere loolu noonu yëpp
waaye loolu dama feel ne nit ki dafa am benn façon yi feebar bu nekk si yow as góor at some point nga ñëw di tëddoo sa doom
dégg ma ne Mr Balde gis nga Aina nañ waxante dëgg ñuy wax dëgg bi tem leer nit ki lum sol I'm not saying I'm encouraging any girl child mu sol fi lu bon di dox si dëkk bi waxuma ko na leer fii waaye nit xale bu jigéen lu mu sol waruta determine yow sa reaction waruta determine yow sa reaction towards xale bi te mu leer tam ñu xam ko te muy seen jaama xale bi nga xam ne amut 18 years mu neex mu naxari su ñëwee si meeku sa kanam sa ne la lii wax la lu nekkat uyu ma wax la lu adult si dee def sa behave sa kanam comme adult it's not an adult aada la sa xel te na ànd ak yàlla
loolu moom digga la waaye tamit moo wax ni nit dina ne yow jéna ba dangaa ne man maa la mag waaye yow yaa ma gën a ëpp xel maturity differs mun ngaa mature physically waaye mind bi is not
xel bi du dee mature di xale yi léegi nga xam ne fat ñu mag
if you have people like Janaba Sonko ñu bëri fii it will be very difficult
du fi difficult dëgg bi man parce que dama déggu te dëgg bi laay wax
yow soo wax leen xale yi ñu em
xale yi loolu laa wax nag man ne na xale yi em maa ko wax loolu laa fi wax tamit am na xale yi em maa ko wax
léegi right now paa yi mag yi ina ñoom fresh blood la ñoo ut xale yu ndaw yi rek
xale yu ndaw yi boys yi sax ñu ngi leen di réeb fi mu nekk nii time bi moom dafa jeex sax boys yu ndaw yi sax ñu ngi leen di réeb si dëkk bi loolu yëpp dañ ko war a waxtaanee
bari na sax
waaw ñun faruñ seen anyway Aina thank you so much for joining us on the program looking forward to your event on Friday.
I hope you all come.
And yes good luck. So we'll just go for a short break and when we come back we'll head right on to sports.
Want it? Order for it and pay quickly using QuickPay on the QMoney platform. With great technology comes ease and convenience. Get a glimpse of what a comfortable life is with QMoney by dialing *323# now. Call 133 for more information. QMoney, Sunyu Kalbe.
Check out the all-new Tigo 8 at S-Pass Motors. Call 3522-222 or 353-2222 for more information. Sherry.
Qcell company bu ëppa client yu ees yu koy jëfandikoo ci biir réew mi Qcell am 4G plus coverage bu gën a yaatu ci biir réew mi internet bu gën a gaaw ñetti yoon naataangoom yi kon nag toxul léegi dal di dial *335# dal di bànneexu 4G bu dëggantaan Qcell network Gambia bu ñu gën a wóolu. Qcell company bu ëppa client yu ees yu koy jëfandikoo ci biir réew mi Qcell am 4G plus coverage bu gën a yaatu ci biir réew mi internet bu gën a gaaw ñetti yoon naataangoom yi kon nag toxul léegi dal di dial *335# dal di bànneexu 4G bu dëggantaan Qcell network Gambia bu ñu gën a wóolu.
QMoney, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your QMoney wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your QMoney wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using QMoney Bank Link is the fastest, most secure and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. QMoney, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
QCell compagnie bu ëppa client yu ees yu koy jëfandikoo ci biir réew mi QCell am 4G plus coverage bu gën a yaatu ci biir réew mi internet bu gën a gaaw ñetti yoon naataangoom yi kon nag toxul léegi dal di dial *335# dal di bànneexu 4G bu dëggantaan QCell network Gambia bu ñu gën a wóolu.
From that discussion, now we head right on to Sports World. Mamadou Gajaga, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Jennifer. Always to be here, talk about sports. And today, we're talking about athletics. With me in the studio is Fatou Sow, Gambian sprinter based in Sweden. She recently competed at the African Seniors Championship, which was held in Mauritius, and she came with a bronze medal. Fatou, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mamadou, and thanks for giving me this opportunity to be in this show. Thank you.
Yes, you are a sprinter. You represented the Gambia, won the bronze medal in Mauritius, alongside Gina Bass, alongside Maimouna Jallow, and also the other athlete who ran in the 4x100 meters relay. Tell us about how it went.
First of all, I'm going to say thanks to our coaches and our association for giving us this opportunity to compete in the African Senior Championship, and this was the first time for them to expose a female relay team. At first, we wasn't thinking it's going to happen. So when they say, yeah, we're going to expose the team, so we was having hopes that it's going to happen, but we wasn't so sure that it's going to happen. But still, I was in Sweden, Gina was in France, and the 2 girls was here. They was training the baton exchange, and then when they say, okay, now it's confirmed that we're going to go, so that's how everything happens. We go in Mauritius, we have 1 day relay training, and then we went straight to the games.
How were you guys able to win the bronze medal, knowing that you've not been a relay team before? This was like prior to the competition, you only had few days or few hours training session?
First of all, I'm going to say it was a surprising win because our team is strong, but we don't have a collective baton exchange because we was in different places. So we only have 1 day of collective relay baton exchange. So we was having some little bit of delays in our exchange. So, but it was successful thanks to the whole team because it is a teamwork. So I think we need to be doing like more collective relay training before we head to our other competitions ahead. So at least we can have better timing and we can at least win gold or bronze, silver, you never know.
Well, for you, you're based in Sweden. Yeah. It's been a while since you last competed for the Gambia, apart from the Mauritius Championship.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit how being an athlete is like in Sweden.
Being an athlete, it's like, it's a job, a full-time job, because you spend all your time in the gym or in the stadium. You don't have enough time to go to Paris or do other things, because if you have double session, you wake up early in the morning, you do gym, you go back home, eat, sleep, then you have another session, and then it's like, it's a routine. It's a routine that we have on our daily basis, just like how you guys dress up and go to the office. So I think it's fun because it's open a lot of opportunities. Being a sportman or a sportwoman, you get the chance to meet different people, and you get the chance to travel in different countries.
And if you do well, you get the chance to get the fortunes of riches as well.
Exactly.
You get endorsements.
Exactly.
You can get endorsement from Nike, Adidas, and the likes, Puma.
Exactly. And you have on side sponsors like these juice, these waters, these massage tools and stuff. You have other side sponsors as well. Yeah.
So for you Gambian athletes, I know competition is a challenge. It's been a long time since you last competed for the Gambia when it comes to international competitions. Has this Mauritius Championship opened the gate for you to compete more for Gambia? Yes, over the past few years it's been Guinea-Bass because she earned it. Absolutely, she's been doing fantastically well, especially in the 200 meters. Reached the World Championship finals. Also in the Olympics competed up to a certain level. In Africa, she's like the best in the 200 meters, the last African Games. But for athletes like you as well, you're also coming up. Do you expect to also represent Gambia regularly in international competitions?
Hopefully from here we will be competing regular for the Gambia, because it's been 5-6 years I haven't competed for the country, because since when I travel, you know, when you travel you have to settle down first, especially on your personal matters, and then when you settle, then you can think of representing and doing other stuff. So I think after this medal in Mauritius, it motivates us more to keep working hard so we can participate for more competitions.
So when it comes to the top level, I know the Indo Championships, the World Championship, as well as the Olympic Games, to get to that level as a sprinter, you have to run a certain number of time. Are you looking forward to that?
I'm going to say I have been working so hard to be in the Olympics for the past few years, but like I'm different with the other athletes. They have scholarship. I don't have scholarship. So I'm doing it for myself and the help from my club and the side sponsors that I have. So hopefully Paris 2024, if all goes well, we will take part in the Olympics.
And as an athlete, sometimes the way you travel in Gambia, I remember talking to you when you were going to Mauritius. It has to take you a few days before getting to Mauritius. Something that should have been maybe an 8-hour flight ends up taking you 2 or 3 days. I understand some athletes were even stranded in South Africa. Yeah, so tell us about that experience.
When we was going, I flew from Copenhagen to Turkey, then Turkey, Mauritius. The delegation from France, they was the luckiest, because from Paris you have direct flight to Mauritius. So the delegation from Gambia, it was like they left Saturday night, Sunday morning from Banjul International Airport, and they were stranded in South Africa for like 2 days because it was like Banjul, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Togo, Kinshasa, Congo, Brazzaville, South Africa, then to
almost halfway around the world before you even
because
get there.
You know, AirSky is like Taxi Africa. It passed every country to drop people. So they were stranded in South Africa. They spend the whole their transit was 13 hours. They have to spend another 13 hours there before they can have flight to Mauritius.
So how does that affect performance? I could remember football going through such, the Gambia national team before they used to triumph in the AFCON and qualifying. Before they used to travel, I could remember in one of their games, was it against Mozambique? They almost had to go 2 days before getting to Mozambique. So how does this affect performance?
I think, after that.
I think like when you're preparing for a game, you should be at least 3 days. 3 days. You can reach your destination 3 days before the competition.
Because so you can have you need to acclimatize as well.
Exactly. You need to rest and then go to the stadium, have some warm-ups, and then test the stadium and stuff. But like this kind of hectic journeys affects athletes because you cannot sit for 3 days without even eating good food or drinking water. You just sit and then your legs are loaded, and you expect athletes to perform in a championship. It's not possible.
But we will have more of this. It seems that we've been completely given a knockout blow in terms of time.
Thank you.
You know, so beautiful.
Oh yeah, I mean,
being an athlete and having a glowing skin. Okay, girl. Be an athlete and keep it glowing. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure.
So that is all we have for you till we come your way tomorrow. Bye bye.
All right.